Hello, here we are. We are on, and just like that, it is episode 8 after show for this show that's this week gave us lots of penis. So, what I'm going to tell you now first is this show may have some explicit content, some explicit talk. So I'm giving the warning now. If you don't want little ears to hear or certain ears to hear, I'm giving you a chance to either pause this and like let them get them out the room, or watch us later or whatever. But I'm letting you know now there could be some adult talk because it's part of the actual episode. They gave us some sex of the Sex in the City of that. So make sure I say that now. My co-host, of course, is Miss Emily May Heller. Hello, Miss Emily.
Hi. Thanks for having me again. We got our little drinks.
So she's doing wine. I'm doing Cosmo old school. So cheers.
Yes, cheers.
I had a Cosmo in so long. I was like, oh, I don't know what else. It's good. It is sweet.
I didn't really have the things for a Cosmo, so I just was like, wine. That's in my fridge.
We always have wine. That was my second choice. If I didn't have it, I have to have wine. That's the second choice. So this episode's called "Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered." Again, yes, and we some adult talk just because it's part of the show. So I'm going to give the little heads up for that. Because I was like, we saw this penis, we saw that penis. It was just like penises everywhere. I'm like, this is kind of crazy, folks. They kept talking about it.
There was a lot of talk. Like again, like I felt like this episode was like I felt like it was a very Sex in the City episode. Felt like it was back, like I was watching the TV show. Yes. Because that was what was so great. I mean, it was great about and shocking when it first came out. Was like, whoa, like they really went there with the show. And they finally, like, we got a little taste of it last week, and now we really got a different taste of it.
Yes, we did. And we're going to get right into it because this is what I'm talking about. So it starts with the Equality March, which is they really are going, I mean, Emily, they're really going in with all this wokeness, as they call it. They're going all in.
Do you think it's like too much right now?
A little bit. Now I'm saying it's a little too much. Now I'm like, you could have spaced it out a little more, maybe. I mean, it just seems like every episode. And I guess because Miranda's story is the queer story, I guess. Man, it just seems a lot. That all Che is queer, basically. It's all about just her. I mean, it's all. I mean, I don't know. It's a little much. I think at this point, I kind of now starting to agree a little bit. Like, okay, I get it. New York is diverse. Now we get it. But she starts out with her. But I like the character of Che. I think she's hilarious and she's really funny up there. And Brady and his girlfriend are there also as allies, right? And Miranda starts to hide and run, and Che gets a little fluttered seeing her running away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is.
Yes. I mean, it's all. I mean, I don't know. It's a little much. I think at this point, I kind of now starting to agree. It's me talking. I heard myself talking. It's funny. It's my voice. But anyway, so yes, we saw that going on. So that's those kind of things. She saw Brady. She wanted Brady to know because she cheated on her husband. Hello, which that actually came out. I'm glad that conversation.
Finally. So like, first of all, I was super mad at Miranda. I know she's trying to figure out what's going on, but the fact that she was like hiding away, like slithering away like a little snake at this like rally, and then it's like, oh, I didn't want to see like my son, or for my son to see me, and there was so many hidden messages there. She's not only hiding it from her family, she's hiding it from Steve. She did tell her friends, but she told Carrie. I mean, Carrie found out obviously first because of the whole situation, but like she even kept it from Charlotte at first and finally came clean. So there's so many things that she's been keeping back, which is not healthy. And I guess she's trying to figure out what this is. Yeah. But it's not fair to anyone in the situation. And we kind of see that later on in the episode.
Yeah, Tony Moore in the chat room. Hello, Tony Moore, another ex-after buzzer. Says, well, why she kept looking back? Just walk away. I think she's trying to make sure that Brady didn't just see. I mean, she was just like you know, you get cautious. Like I don't. I mean, maybe that's why. I don't know.
She could have acted like if she was. I think that's an interesting comment because if she just walked away and was like, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom or go somewhere, like just walk away. And also, first of all, you shouldn't be ashamed if you're at this rally. Like if your son sees you here, it doesn't mean like. it doesn't mean any. I mean, it doesn't mean anything that like.
Yes.
It means something, but not in the way that she's saying. Like, no, he's not going to assume like, oh, you're at this rally.
Yeah, you're fucking the girl up there for 3 weeks. Apparently, they're having sex for 3 weeks.
3 weeks constantly.
I guess she's that good. I guess. But she did. But I love.
How does Miranda have the time?
You find time for good sex, girl. You find the time. I'd find the time. That's how you find
no, I'm saying like, does she just leave all day and Steve is like,
right, sure.
Like that's my question.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's a little personal myself. I give myself. No. I guess no. Yeah, I mean, because wait, is she working? I can't remember. She's not working. I mean, she's going to school, so she can actually get this.
Yeah, she's going to school, and I think that's it. I don't think she's working. Right?
That's a good question. But the question for me is, I love that Che stood up for themselves. It was like, no, we are not doing this. I don't do cheating. And so, but Miranda was also, I see she was kind of like, I'm trying to figure myself. This is new territory for her. So I got both sides. I got both sides of it.
Well, I felt bad for both of them because Miranda is just figuring it out. And the fact that they're in love, or they say they're in love, that's just adding a whole other layer. Right? Yes. But the fact that Shay is trying to figure out, like, and I love how they were honest and said, I am sorry, I am not a homewrecker. I don't go into marriages and try to mess stuff up. I thought you had an open marriage.
Right.
And the fact that Miranda wasn't completely honest with them, makes me so frustrated with her. And it's not in character because we've seen, we know Steve cheated on Miranda back in previous movies, right? And did he cheat on the show or just the movie? I think it was just the movie. Just the movie, right?
We're all shocked, like Steve cheated on her.
Yeah, right. A one night stand, right? So we know that they've had these issues, and the fact that Miranda is so willy nilly about it, like gave Steve such a hard time back in the day, and then now is just so like, well, I can go about doing this because I can, is
because she's having good sex. I'm telling you, you lose your brains.
I know.
You know, love is blind, girl. You know it is.
I get it. She hasn't had sex in like what, 3 years or something?
Yeah.
So
remember?
I get it. She is. Look, I was gonna say something.
The wine's getting there.
When you get some good stuff, you're like, you can't let it go, right?
You can't let it go.
Hold on.
Homegirl must be just amazing.
But you just hold on to it without taking care of your business at home, right?
And that was the reality check, right? That was the reality check in that moment. It was like, she was like, wait a minute, Miranda, I can't do this. Get your life together.
And I love that they were so like, no, I'm going to go do my thing. I'm going to go and go on my tour and do that. And you need to figure out.
Figure it out. You figure it out. And as my thing says, get your shit together.
Get your shit together, Miranda.
That's right. Tony says, it's a good question because we told this on the show all the time. Do we like the discovery of Miranda being a lesbian? I said it's a little on the nose because in real life,
I don't think she's a lesbian though.
I don't think she is either.
I think I don't know if she's, I don't want to put like a label on that. I don't know if she's necessarily like bi or if she's just exploring, and I don't know. I mean,
remember in the original series, that famous episode where she was trying to get ahead in the company and they thought her and the girl were together.
Yes.
She gets to the elevator and she was like, I feel nothing. So Miranda didn't feel anything then, and she didn't feel nothing. That was 20 years ago.
Well, I have to say it could be with the right person, it doesn't matter.
That's what I mean. So I'm saying I don't think she's a lesbian. I think she's
I
don't know what she is. I mean,
you can fall in love with many people, and
I think so.
And I don't think I don't think you're like identified as one thing or another.
Yeah, I am not sure either. And I know and Tony is funny because he said, I'm going to go to Cleveland. I know Cleveland, my family's in Cleveland, Hyderabad Heights and Parma Heights, Shaker, I know all the people there. And Cleveland's like just like this place. It's kind of like almost kind of like, it seems like a joke sometimes, but I love my Cleveland. My Bob Evans is there.
Cleveland.
I like my Cleveland. So, but it's I don't know if Miranda's a lesbian. I think she's something. One of a certain age. just becomes something. So I
Do you
don't know.
think she's having a midlife crisis and this is all?
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely sounded like crisis.
I felt definitely those vibes. Like when we'll talk about it later. I felt those vibes.
Yeah. We're gonna. So we have that going on. So that was our opening, and then we had Carrie in all her clothes. Seema comes over. I like Seema to come over, and she's like literally her clothes were like her different 20s or 30s or all different clothes was great. I have a little side note. They're eating Chinese food, and to me, it's my opinion, folks. It's my opinion. New York Chinese food is the best, followed by San Francisco. I like those two. I lived all over the place. I just feel like there's nothing like it to me. So when they were eating, I was like, oh, I want some right now.
I think it's New York, San Francisco, LA.
Yeah, I agree. That's
those are like the trifecta. Maybe Chicago after that.
I would say Chicago. Yeah.
There's definitely like I know where to go in San Francisco. I know where to go in New York, and I'm like now I want. And when I lived in New York, I would go and wait in line for my soup dumplings, and then go and get my foot massage. I would wait. I'd like put my name. I was like, "Can I get seated in like 20 minutes?" And they're like, "Sure." And then I'd go get my.
I love it.
You have to know how to work it, right?
That's so New York. No, I love Chinese New York. I was going to say, so eating that. But they pulled out that Versace dress. As soon as she pulled it out, I went, oh my God, that's a dress from Paris.
I know. That was a legendary dress. I mean, I love how they're paying homage to like these moments that were so iconic in the series. Yes. The dresses we remember, like the tulle skirt, like she wore that, and I was like, we remember that. Oh, cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
And I love how even the clothes were a character.
They were
part of the personality.
Patricia Fields, famous costumer. Yeah. I mean, even in this season, she wore a tutu style dress in one of them. And remember, of course, the opening of Sex and the City, she's in a tutu.
Exactly.
And she turns to the bus. And she actually wore a tutu twice on Sex and the City, actually. She wore a tutu twice in the show. But no, her clothes, literally, they were like the sixth lady. It was literally because like New York was the fifth lady. The clothes, Carrie's fashion was always talked about. And I was like, oh my God, with Alexander Petrovsky. Oh my
God. Would you keep all that? Like
I think so. I think when it comes to certain clothing, yes. I have a couple of things from 30 years ago. A couple of things. I'm an organizer by trade, so I don't have a lot of stuff. But I do have a few things I do. I think that dress was really a major dress.
When I did, like, I have a lot of my theater costumes just because those were so custom and like you can't really get them anywhere. So like I have tons of those, but like my real life Emily, very limited. Okay. I probably have like a 10-year cutoff.
That's good though. That's good.
Where I'm like, you know what? I haven't worn this. I'm not going to wear it. I'm not going to give it to someone. I'm going to give it away. Like
that's good. That's fine.
And then moving a lot also helps.
Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do. But I think that dress is that is a very iconic. I remember just laying in the bed waiting for Alexander. That dress was just, and it's beautiful. So I mean, I'm glad he pulled it out.
Carrie's gonna start giving, like, because I know Lily was there, right? Yes. Lily was trying on dresses, so that might be like a nod to maybe there could be some additional series work, a spin-off.
Who knows, right?
Maybe,
Lily in the City.
Mm-hmm. You know, Lily in the City. There's Emily in Paris. Why not Lily in the
City? Exactly. And then also the smoking thing. So Carrie smokes once a day now. I was shocked. How about you? They brought back the smoking thing. It's literally, I don't know anybody who smokes anymore. Like we used to all smoke. And I don't know anybody who smokes at all anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it was such an iconic thing for her to do throughout the series that I think, well, she started smoking after Big, right? Passed away. So I think they had to address it like, oh, she's not smoking anymore. So that was like her way of doing that. And it's showing the progression of her healing, of her like, okay, I'm not relying on this thing in the past and like this thing to make me feel better. Yeah. So I think it's kind of her moving on a little bit. So they kind of had to show that. But I honestly don't, I see people vaping and doing other smoking, but not like, I rarely see people smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, same here. I saw a girl in a car the other day and she's smoking a cigarette. It's like sitting I'm like, I used to have like emergency pack cigarettes in one of my drawers, so emergencies. I don't even have that anymore. I mean, it's gone. I mean, I haven't had a cigarette literally in maybe 10, 15 years. A cigarette. Actual cigarettes. So it's kind of funny that her and Seema smokes, and she said Seema don't smoke in the house. Now, did you catch that? It was all like, I don't want it on my clothes. I don't want it in my house.
And she used to smoke. She used to smoke in her apartment all the time. So that's why I was like, girl, when did that happen?
See? So maybe you're right. Maybe it's a difference. So you said maybe it's a healing part of that. Maybe that's why. But her whole ritual going outside, which we see later, of course, the Playtex gloves. But that's so funny and that's true. When you stop doing something, sometimes it becomes heightened when you're forced with it. And so I don't know. That was very interesting about that. Now introducing you to a new neighbor downstairs, Lizette. We find out her name is later, a jewelry designer from California. You know, the weird Californians, like whatever. They always say that on this show. Very New York of them. Very New York of them.
I know. When I lived there, they knew I was from California right away.
Oh, of course. Me too. When I was there, they just. They're
like, why are you smiling so much? Why are you so smiling?
Why are you saying hello to everybody? Why do you like avocados?
Oh my God, hunting an avocado down in New York in the summer was like the hardest thing, and it was like $14 for a freaking avocado.
Yeah, I know, girl. I agree with you. That was crazy. So Carrie is dealing with this neighbor. They're having a good time. Well, homegirl has a young man on the stoop. The friendships are all there, but they're loud as fuck. And loud. I got one of those crazy laughs. I totally get it. I was like, oh my God, that's my laugh. That carries. She calls Bobby, who's funny. He has a girlfriend or whatever, about what to do because she feels uncool. And so as a person of that age, I totally get it now. Like, there are things I'm like, that's just so loud. Why is that so? I mean, but like 10, 15 years ago, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care at all. So that actually, to me, and how she can't sleep, I totally get it. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the Roof Chickens episode of the original series when those roosters were on the roof.
Roosters, yeah.
She called them roof chickens, and they were out there crowing all night, and then so she kept getting upset. So it reminded me of that. But they like.
You remember Samantha and
the trans people downstairs?
Yeah. They were. She like had a moment where she was like would yell at them like, come on.
So they always have that. So I think it reminded me of that. That was probably an homage to that a little bit. But it's showing. I love that it's showing the girls, today. Like I said, I'm their age. I'm in my mid-50s. I know I'm their age. So it's kind of like I get it. But things that we didn't bother us before, or that were us, we're being confronted with now, right in front of us. Like, oh, this chick is doing what Carrie did back in her 20s. Like she's doing it, but now you're older. And you're like, oh, that's getting my nerves. I love that. So I thought it was kind of funny. Then here comes the first scene of several, where we see some full frontal. Charlotte and Harry. So have you ever seen this before? It's a little fitness ring. It's like actual ring. I thought she meant like a band, but it's actual ring.
That was pretty cool.
It was really cool. You put it on it, and it has it's about men of your age, blah blah. And then he had it. It was cute. It was just so cute. Like, go on your knees and don't you be that's the right way. It was so cute while you're down there. And I was like, okay, very Sex and the City. But when I can't even talk. I'm already getting for clams. When they pulled away, when Lily almost came in, and this thing was like, it was hanging way down there. And he went, oh, and I'm like, it almost hit me in the face. I was like, oh my God. I was like, Harry, I had no idea.
Camera work there.
Yes. I was like, okay, Harry Goldenblatt, had no idea. That's why Charlotte's happy.
I was like, damn. I was like, go Charlotte.
I know. But see, the thing is, we've seen his ass on the original series.
Oh, yeah.
One time he was walking around. Mm-hmm. They never showed his ding dong. Mm-hmm. So we never saw it. So I thought that was really interesting. We just never saw it.
Do you think it's a stunt double?
A stunt penis? I don't know, because whoever's it was, I was like, okay, congratulations, Charlotte. I totally get it. Wow.
I felt like this episode was finally an episode where Charlotte loosened up a bit.
Yes.
Like finally, like she's been like slowly doing it, and I actually liked how she kind of loosened up a bit. She's been like too uptight.
Yes. And then so we had that going. So now the talk with Lily, that's the whole thing. Now that's coming up now in the episode. The whole thing about Lily seeing them and talk, and Lily's 15 and blah blah. And I was like, that's right. Lily came first. At the end, they realized they were pregnant. That's what I was like. It took a second to remember.
Lily came, and then they were like, "Oh shit, I'm pregnant." Yeah,
that's right. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. So Carrie's downstairs neighbor, Lizette, comes up to apologize. Like, oh, okay. But Carrie tries to play it off very Carrie, like, oh, it's fine, I'm good. I'm like,
such a Carrie moment.
Yeah, it's a very Carrie moment, of course. So that's kind of fun. Then the ladies who lunch. We get together, we finally see them get together. Charlotte uses no shade, which I love. I was like, yes, no shade, use shade. I love shady. But that's every 5 seconds, you still blow Harry. You still blow Harry. You still blow. That was old Sex and the City. That was old Sex and the City. Right
this is the moment. So when Miranda and Carrie were freaking out about that, I felt like this was the most Samantha moment that Charlotte had. Like I felt like this was that she was kind of replacing Samantha in this moment.
Yes.
Or at least like exuding her personality a bit. Because they freaked out so much about like, wait, you still do that kind of thing? Like, how long have you been married? Like, what?
Yes.
And it felt like we were back again in the old times watching the show and all that lunching they did and gossiping. Like I felt like I was back there in those.
It was funny because remember the episode where Charlotte and Samantha got into a fight because Trey wasn't giving it to her. At the very end, they realized they're each kind of against each other. Because I thought that episode was my favorite because it showed, because why would Samantha and Charlotte be friends? You think, why would they be friends? So opposite. Yeah, Carrie's kind of the middle person, but you saw they actually rubbed off. And I felt, I agree. I feel like Charlotte, she's been married for a while. She's married. That's what she's always wanted to be. And now she's doing it with her husband. So for her, it's no big deal. To me, it makes sense. No big deal.
I mean, for her, it's like it's part of like their relationship and their intimacy. And what I liked is like we've seen them kind of on a like her and Harry on a superficial level of like this is their relationship. They go and do tennis. They go and do these dinners and these charities and go to school events. But here was like the first time we saw them a little bit more intimate. I remember seeing in the movies and the TV show they were intimate, but like this was like the first time in this series we really saw them like connect again. Which is very much opposite of Miranda and Steve.
We're getting there, yes. Now it's time for what I call product placement on And Just Say That. Just say that. And just like that. Back in the day, Magnolia Bakery was a big deal. Remember that was a big deal? And and here's the thing, Emily May. I went when it was popular, I waited in line at New York. And over there, because it's right, because folks, it's right in the corner. It's on the corner. It's a small. When you walk in, it's super small. It's like a super small thing. Before they had one in LA. There's one in LA, over by Fairfax, but it's not. That's bigger. But it wasn't here yet. It was just New York, and there was a line, literally 4 cupcakes. This went before sprinkles, before everybody got big.
Before cupcakes were a big thing.
Yeah, before they were a big thing. So again, here they go. And Magnolia, actually, I didn't like Magnolia cupcakes. They were okay. They were just okay. I like sprinkles better, but I just thought they were okay.
Any cupcake, I'm down for any cupcake.
Clearly, I would eat them if I was there, but other cupcakes, I like other ones a little better. But now they had fatwitch.com. So Fatwitch, I never heard of them before. I don't know if you ever heard of them. I never heard. They do blondies and brownies and stuff. I never heard of them before.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
No.
So they walked around. They had the sign. They said the name. They look good. And Carrie talked about her downstairs neighbor and wanted to get her a little gift. And Miranda was talking about she wants Che. And Charlotte and Carrie asked the one question: do you know how much she wants you?
That is the $1 million question that everyone in a relationship, or at least in the blossoming of a relationship, asks themselves. And you should ask your partner, because if you are on a different page than the person you're in a relationship with, that is not a good way to start. So, I mean, right away you have to align and say, okay, it's always like that awkward thing where that's why saying I love you is such a big deal, because if you say it first and the person doesn't say it back, you either have to catch up and say, okay, I'm not ready yet, or you break up, or it gets complicated, right? It feels very weird because one person is in a different place. And this was like, and Carrie was super smart here, with her friends saying, is Shay gonna be in the same place as you?
Because you're ready to give up everything for them, but you don't know if they are into you.
And exactly, like, are they willing to make sacrifices? Because you're going to be making all the sacrifices. You're going to be the one that has to go to your husband and say, sorry, I'm not going to be in this relationship anymore, and to explain that to your kids.
I know.
And
yes,
it's very different than what Shay has to do, which is
right. Just either be there or not.
Just
be.
Right. Yeah.
And well, actually, we'll go to the next thing was she runs into them and tells Shay, well, Shay says first, I do love you, but I don't do traditional. And I know stuff. And Miranda's like, okay. She's like, I'm gonna take care of everything. I'm gonna take care of everything. She's like an eager schoolgirl.
Did you feel like she was desperate here?
Yes.
I totally felt the desperation. I felt like she was trying to say the right thing in order to hold on to her or hold on to them. And I felt like it was like Miranda being desperate, and it just felt it made me so uneasy, and I was so frustrated because I get like they're reciprocating feelings.
Yeah.
But you're sacrificing a lot, which I know we're gonna get into soon. But
I know, but she told her, so I'm gonna handle everything. You go to Cleveland. And Carrie goes to her neighbor.
It's all Cleveland's fault. It's all Cleveland's fault.
It's all Cleveland's fault. Even though Cleveland rocks. Though. Well, now we got another penis watch happens. And it's much shorter. But Carrie goes downstairs. He was coming in the house, in her building with the box to give to Lizette. And her man answers the door, and he's like, "Of course, we don't need sugar." He's hot. First of all, he's hot. He's hot.
Look at those muscles.
Oh yeah, there was everything. You can watch. You can count the abs. It was fine. And then he's wearing a towel. He just drops the box and then drops his towel. We see Ding Dong again, and she sees it too. She's like, "Oh, okay. Oh, you keep that." I was laughing. I was like, "Okay, more penis again." Penis for everybody. Okay.
Oh, it's classic Sex in the City. It's those awkward naked moments. Yeah. You're just like, oh, okay. Like it felt so scary.
I agree. I totally agree. Then we go from that to Charlotte and Lily having lunch at a French restaurant, of course. Of course, Charlotte would do this big deal. And it went direction.
Just go have cheeseburgers. Why can't you just go and go to get a hot pretzel or something?
I know it's so. A pretzel from New York sounds good right now. But you're based on one of those street vendors. I'm like with the mustard. I'm on it. But she's Charlotte, so of course. She's Charlotte. And so, but it went direction I didn't expect. So it went direction where the phone's in the center, and she sees that she has an Instagram pic. I'm like, oh, they're going that direction. I didn't see it coming. And Lily runs out, because you could do that in New York, I guess. Just run out, being questioned, and she runs to Carrie's, which I thought was legit because Carrie was around when Lily was a kid on the original series. She'd always watch stuff. So I thought, now the only problem I had with this, Emily, was I wish they had a little conversation together. It was like, she was saying, "This is my mom. She's upset. I can't stay here." I would say you had like an Aunt Carrie Lily talk. That's what it was.
Exactly. Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm missing that too, because you have to realize Carrie is you're right. Carrie's the aunt, right? The cool Aunt Carrie, right? So having Lily go to her and say, "Oh man, I had this thing with my mom," or "Oh man, she found my Instagram account." Carrie probably knew about the account and said, "Okay, here's the clothes to wear for your Instagram." Right. That's what cool aunts do. Yes. And then Carrie will report back to Charlotte and say, "Okay, all right, this is what's going on." Right. But I do kind of miss that connection, because they've been friends a long time. You should have that connection with their kids,
Yeah, they didn't do that, but they had her talk to Charlotte. She said to Charlotte, "I've seen you wear a lot less back in the '90s." I'm like, and I said, "Talk to her." She goes, "It's true. It's true. We've seen it. We go back and see it."
Some of those dresses Carrie wore there was nothing.
Woo, I know. I was like, they were wearing stuff. And Samantha, they were all wearing stuff. But I mean, it's still kind of cute. She went there, and it's fine. And so I was like, "Sure, stay there." And then, of course, the loud music happens again downstairs. I don't know if I would do this, but she went downstairs, and the door was open, and Lizette was this beautiful dress. knocked out, passed out, of course, music blaring. And I saw, and it was kind of cool. Carrie's kind of seeing her past, I think. Going, I've been here. Like she's softening up, like, I've been there. And we know that we've seen it. We watched her been there. So we know.
Yeah, I like how you're seeing the different journeys, because everyone's gonna go through the things that Carrie has been through, you know, and like so it was like a reflection of herself, like, oh man, I've been there, I've been passed out on the couch, I've done this, you know. So it was Carrie kind of saying, okay, I'm in a different, it's part of that closure of her saying, I don't want to necessarily be back at 25, right? But I'm here.
Yes.
How do I handle the here and now?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's also this weird thing of when you see it, I have younger friends and I'm watching them go out and do all this stuff. And I'm like, that was my life 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. I'm like, that's not my life anymore. I don't want it, but it's interesting to watch it when you realize the music's not for me anymore, or that these shows aren't for me, or that fashion isn't for me. It's a little dawn. It's a little weird at first. I remember it's like 2-3 years ago, the Billboard charts. You know what Billboard is out there, folks. Billboard is the music charts. They list the top 10 of the week. And Emily May Heller, the top 10 of the week. There's 1 week I didn't know one person, and I was like, okay, time of death. I'm dead. This is it. I don't know these people. I didn't know one, not even one. And I was like, at number 11 was Taylor Swift. I knew who Taylor Swift was, but from 1 to 10, I don't know who the fuck any of those were. I don't know any of them were. No. So I get it. At some point, it happens.
Yeah, sometimes you have moments where, like, there's a trend on TikTok, and it's like,
yes. I didn't. There was something that was going around that I didn't know, but now speaking of Billboard, now I know what it is. I didn't see Encanto, so I haven't seen it. So I didn't know that song, we don't talk about something or whatever. It's a huge hit. And it's announced for the charts. It's the biggest Disney song.
You should see the movie. It's really, really good.
I'm going to see it at some point. I mean, now I want to see it, but I didn't know everybody's about the song. And I'm like, why is this song? And it's on TikTok too. I was like, why has this song become a trend? And then I saw that it's like number 4 on the charts. It's a huge hit, biggest song since A Whole New World, all these things. So I'm like, okay, so now I'm saying I'm out of tune now where I was in tune. I didn't know what a Sweetie was. I know who a Cardi B was at first. I know what Megan Thee Stallion was. I mean, they start coming out, like, who are these people? Like, where's Mary J. Blige or something? I mean, I don't know. I mean, where's Smashing Pumpkins? And I'm saying, I don't know who these people were. I'm like, completely. It's like, oh, okay, that's okay, got it. So I'm not in the loop as I used to be, because I'm not out there. So I understand where these ladies are coming from. Where you kind of get out the rotation a little bit.
But every generation goes through this. Yeah. Every person goes through this. Like, our parents went through it. It's part of it. It's part of life.
It sucks though. Okay. So, oh my gosh. So Lizette sees Carrie in her getup, smoking a cigarette. Thinks nothing about it, of course, but just like, hey, she's like, oh my goodness, most uncool look on earth. That was hilarious to me. That was hilarious. Her scarf. Lily and Charlotte have the awkward conversation, because earlier, to play it off is very Charlotte, I was trying to see if he had cancer in his penis, basically. Like, that's okay. But they talk, and literally, Lily's okay. Basically, Lily's okay. She's trying to find her way, who she is. The Instagram page is not that serious. Like 13 people are on it. It's not that serious. And I'm assuming she doesn't know what mommy and daddy were doing. Right? Because she says, oh, did you find cancer? And Charlotte just hugs her. So I'm assuming that means she did know what they were doing.
Yeah, I don't think she knew. I don't think she saw enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, she did.
I think Charlotte closed the door quickly enough where she was like, oh, something's going on. Like, maybe my mom's going to the bathroom, like, with my, like, everyone shares bathrooms, right? So I don't know. I felt like it happened so fast that I don't think Lulu really saw anything. Yeah. So I think Charlotte overreacted a bit and made it a thing when it wasn't.
Charlotte.
And then she said, like, the worst possible thing about, like, oh, I'm checking for cancer. It's like, now you're gonna make your daughter worry. Right. She's gonna be sad, like, oh, my dad has cancer.
Yes, exactly.
Like, that's worse.
I know. And now we come to the conversation. So all that's funny and fun, and crazy. But this conversation between Steve and Miranda, because you posted this morning first thing first, and I hadn't watched it yet. I was watching it when you were. See, I know when you posted that, I was just starting to watch it. It was one of the most realistic conversations about a long-term relationship I've ever seen. It was very. She's coming from one place. He's coming from another. Yes, Emily.
Yeah. I can't. It was so like this was where I was.
Oh my God, I love that. Aw.
I know I'm gonna cry because I was no joke. I watched it early, so because I'm 2 hours ahead of you, so I watched it early, and I was in like our guest room where I am right now, and I was bawling, no joke, bawling like a baby, and full on tears, like convulsing, like a little ball, because it was so real.
It was,
and this goes back to when you're in a different place than your partner, and communicating that is one of the hardest things you can do. And this was so real, it gives me chills because these are conversations I've had, not this specifically, but lots of people have these conversations in romantic relationships and in just normal
friendships,
friendships, because you have to have these hard conversations. And you have to level the playing field and say, hey, I'm not happy in this moment. I'm not happy for these reasons. And sometimes when that other person says they didn't notice you were unhappy, or they are happy and they're like, why aren't you happy? Those are hard conversations. And I was waiting for this conversation, and every episode of this, I was like, Miranda, you need to have this talk with Steve. It broke my heart to hear that Steve was fine the way it was. And I'm a fighter, right? I will fight tooth and nail for things that I want. And the fact that Steve said that he doesn't have the energy and the stamina to fight again, that got me. And I was a big mess.
Because
that's the thing you need. You need to fight for what you want. You need to fight for the relationships that you have in your life. And when one person gives up, that's it. When one person gives up, that's it. And so you have Miranda saying, I'm out. And then you have Steve saying, I'm not going to fight it. And that is all. And that all comes down to not talking about it earlier. And that's why communication is so important. There's my rant.
No, it's good.
Before I cry more because
I love it. No, I love it. No, because it was very serious, and they really did a good job showing both sides. Steve was like, we finally got to a place where there's no ups and downs.
I know, and he just felt content. He was just content with having his dessert at night and talking about Brady. And he was like, finally, we don't have, it's not complicated. No. It's simple and it's basic. And people don't realize that that's okay.
No, I know. Why
have it complicated?
Right. I saw his side. I kept thinking, though, like, you don't have sex, though? That's another story. But I did think, I was like, that's a little crazy.
That goes back to like different types of intimacy.
That's true. Right. No, you're right.
And there's emotional intimacy, and there's all these other things we don't need to get into, but there's so much more. And Miranda's forgetting about that. She's just thinking about physical.
Right. Because now we know that she's been having sex for 3 weeks every day.
Constantly. Like, no wonder your endorphins are going to be freaking out.
That's what it is. That's what it is. You know? That's what it is. I saw what he was saying, and I felt what he was saying, and I thought, okay, I get it. He's like, we're companions. We've been together for so long. We've done so much. We've gone through so much. They have. I mean, it's been a long time. It's been like 30 years at this point or whatever. So
you got through cancer with Steve. You got through all those different partners. You got through just
everything.
So much.
And then whatever happened off screen, between the time periods.
Yeah.
So we're assuming all that.
What does the chat think? I can't see the chat. What do people think in the chat?
Oh, so I know it's coming on that. Yeah, I see wine glasses. The last thing I see. The people are watching, but I see wine glasses. But here's the thing. So Miranda's side, I get it also. When she says we're only 55, I have that talk with people my age all the time. I'm like, they always say, you're so busy. You always just make things. You're like, I have life to live still because we're old. Like, but we're not that old. I mean, we're in our 50s. We're not that old. The 50s are different now than they were 30 years ago. And I think, and that's the problem.
Like the new 30.
I don't know. I'm not going 30. I'm not 30 years old. But the thing is, I get where she's coming from too. She's like, when she asks, see the part that's very real. She goes, but don't you want more? Yeah. He's like, no. Are you happy? He's like, yeah.
And that goes to like being on different pages. Miranda wants something totally different, is craving that, has craved that for a long time, but didn't talk to Steve about that. And like, I think the way that it's gonna go, can I predict something?
Sure.
I think they're gonna have an open marriage now. I think they're gonna have the companionship of each other, but Miranda will have this other person.
I think so too.
And I think that's the way it's going to go. Because it just, I feel like you can't just give up on a history like that.
Well, he said, you're always like this. You think I'm not good enough. You think I'm enough. You think I'm not good enough. You think I'm enough. And I always hang in there. So when he said your line, or when you said his line, I had no energy to fight anymore. That's what it was. He was like, I always hang in there. I let you fly off the handle and do whatever you want.
Because he's kind of like a puppy dog. He's loyal. He has always been loyal.
Always.
He had one slip up over 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that happens. Whatever. Like, you move on. And I'm not like saying that so flippantly, but they got past it, right? So
They did.
That says something. He has been super loyal and dedicated, and they just need to work their shit out.
I'm too old to rally for us. I want you to be happy. And she just goes, I've met someone. And
okay, when she said
that's shitty to me.
Oh, it's hurting my heart. When they I literally have chills because
seriously, I feel I'm right there with you.
When she said that, literally I felt Steve's heart just drop, because he doesn't know if it's he assumes it's another guy. Another guy.
Yeah, probably.
That's the most heartbreaking. Like,
I know.
You just have just the hypocrisy of Miranda, like being mad about Steve having this one night stand years ago. They got over it, but then now she's having this deep, supposedly love affair with this other person. Is like, and I get it. Okay, she might be going through a midlife crisis. People have crises in their lives.
Right.
But your partner is supposed to be there to help you get through them. You're not supposed to cause a riff in your whole life.
I know.
I'm just saying. I'm ranting a lot.
I love it. You're good. You're saying it really great. You're saying it good. And I agree. I'm just saying, I wrote down, they see life differently.
They totally see life differently. And you can't, because you're supposed to be hand in hand when you're in a relationship, right? You're supposed to walk the path together.
Yeah. And
Miranda's like 20 steps ahead, and Steve's like, I'm good back here.
Yes.
That is not going to work. And then you have Shay in the middle. Shay's like on the side saying, hey.
She is. I mean, with her fingers. Yeah, apparently.
They are, yeah. Oh, God.
Apparently.
We got so serious. We got so serious in this episode.
Well, it was good. Because it really, I really felt like that was a real conversation. You're right. We've all had it. We've all had that.
So real. It was so real.
Yeah, it was real. It was really good. Didn't expect it, but I know you've been waiting. You said every episode you've been waiting for it. You've said on this show many times you're waiting for them to talk.
I told you I was waiting since episode 2.
Yep, we did it. We talked. And then Miranda tells Carrie she's going to Cleveland, the professor love. And
oh my God, this is going to be so bad. I have another prediction.
I was going to ask you that. What do you think? What do you think?
Okay, Miranda's going to go there. She's going to catch them, Shay, in like a compromising position with someone else or flirting with someone else and gonna fly off the handle and have a moment and realize she made a big mistake, or they're gonna get into a big fight and there's gonna be a big blow up. Yeah, that's what I think what's gonna happen, because remember, they said they didn't want anything traditional. They're not gonna do monogamy. They're not gonna be just with one person. Miranda is gonna slip back into those habits.
Oh yeah, easily.
Because there's no way. Like, she's been in a monogamous relationship for
30 years.
30 years, right? So there's no way. Or 20 plus years. Yeah, it's not gonna.
I agree with you.
There's gonna be, again, not being on the same page, because she was so desperate to say, okay, I'm in love with you, and oh yeah, I'm willing to make this work. She jumped into it without actually thinking about the work and sacrifices and effect that will have on the people around her.
There is a saying in television, they call it powder keg moments, where something seemingly, a character wants something, so you kind of give it to them, but it blows up in their face.
This is what's going to happen.
Exactly. She thinks, well, clean yourself, sure. She thinks I'm gonna finally have Shay. We'll be together. It'll be wonderful. But you're right. Something's gonna happen that's gonna bring it to reality. So that's how it works. I mean, that's how it is. That's what Charlotte's going through. She thought her life would be really idyllic, but her one girl who thinks she's a man, I guess a cisgendered man, a transgendered man, and her other daughter is showing her body. So this is all above what Charlotte's ready for. She wanted a picture-perfect family. Carrie thought she had big. That would be it. Now she's single again. So it's like, there's always like, you think you get what you want you get it for a while, but then something goes down.
Totally. And like, that's the process of life, right? Like, things change, people change, but yeah, they're gonna have a lot to figure out here.
And then Lizette throws the guy out. Carrie's coming downstairs. She's like, I'm so embarrassed. Because it's fine. It's New York dating. And I thought that's such a great thing. And of course, and just like that, Carrie is in the dress. Loved it. She's in the dress.
Loved it.
She's in the dress. She's in the dress. I love it. So that was sitting at the window. I loved it. I thought that was a cute. And that's so. I mean, again, another great. I mean, some people are hating the show. Some folks are loving the show. I like it. I think it's an admirable season so far of a show that we love. Again, you and I are very protective. We love this.
Oh my God, I love it. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I love it too. I think it's like you and I both said. I think it's finally hitting its stride. I think it's finally hitting. As it's sad, there's only 2 episodes left, but I feel like it's finally hitting its stride. So we have 2 episodes left. Emily May, only 2 episodes. That's it. Only 2 episodes this season.
2, yeah. They have so much to wrap up. I don't even know.
I know. Usually about what episodes. Well, see, luckily with these streaming services, I do Boba Fett Aftershow too on Disney Plus. They run between 30 and 48 minutes and 40 minutes. They can play with the time. Where on HBO, there's literally has to be a half an hour. You can't, or an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, I'm interested to see how they wrap this up, because are they going to leave us on like feeling fulfilled enough where we feel like we have closure with Miranda and we have closure with Steve and Carrie? Like, what's her next steps? Like, I was missing the love interest in this episode, because she kind of said, oh, I'm going to go on a second date, and then didn't have one yet. So I was kind of feeling like
it's coming.
It's coming, but I want to know, like, there's so many questions.
I know it is, and they have 2 episodes left. So let's end on a cliffhanger and give us a season 2. I don't know what the ratings are. I don't know what for HBO Max. I don't know what they're.
I don't know the ratings. I mean, the reviews and ratings on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes is not great.
I know. But I mean, I'll
whatever. I don't even agree with those all the time.
Yeah, me neither. So I'm curious if the numbers are good enough for them. They'll bring it back. That's the thing. I mean, they want, if advertisers are good, because there's a lot out there at home that they go by. It's advertising dollars, and so I feel like Sex and the City is good for advertising, because the audience is there. It's older women, it's younger women, it's now women of color. Now it's trans, now it's non-binary. Like this season they really did open up the series. So I think for advertising and stuff, marketing, it's a good one. But I don't know what the subscribers, how you go through that. So I have no idea what on HBO Max. I have no idea.
Yeah, HBO Max is going to be different, you know.
Oh, so Sherry R, hello. This is us, and just like that, the Sex and the City reboot that we're about to end, actually. So that's what. So you came on, hello, say hello. Thanks for saying hello. She goes, I came on to see you, JLJ. So, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Aw, getting some love out there.
Yeah. But and just like that, the show is over, you guys. I mean, May Heller, tell them where they can find you and all your goodness.
Yes, you can find me on all social platforms at Emily May Heller.
That's right. Follow her, kids. And you can find me. We're all James Lott Jr. is sold at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. Tomorrow night, it's me, Flo Boyce, Matthew Theall, and and Frank Moran. We're talking all things Star Trek. So go ahead and join us at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Here, I'm asking all kinds of crazy questions like I've been doing the last couple of Fridays. We did DC, then Marvel, now Star Trek. So we're doing that. We're going to talk about that. I can't do this. I can't do it. I've never been able to do it. So she can do it. She's doing it. I can try. I'll try to do it. I don't know. It's like I can't do it. But tune in tomorrow night, see if I can perfect it by then. See, she's doing it fine. Shit. She's good. I can't do it. My dexterity. I don't know what's going on. But check us out then. And this weekend, the soaps are back. The soaps are back. Our Soap Sunday is back with Young and the Restless, Bold and Beautiful, General Hospital. And I am guest starring on Dishing Days, my old show that I joined 7 years ago. I'm coming back there for a once appearance. So look at my stuff for all those listings. But Soap Sunday is back in full swing. Everybody, please take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Thank you to all the and just like that Facebook groups and Sex City Facebook. Let me post this in there and keep the discussions going. Thank you so much for doing that. I'll see you and